Starting this video on a foggy morning through Tampa, Florida. The news said this is sea fog caused by the dew point being higher than the temperature of the water in the Gulf of Mexico. By the way, long bridge ahead. Check your gas. But I'm here to see a very, very large edifice this morning. As I make a left turn, yep, that's the man Tom Brady on the billboard over there. Please, Tom, stay another year. We're kind of early, so the pro shop isn't open, so I can get some Bucks gear. But seeing this beautiful stadium with all those great football players on it will be just fine with me. Hey guys, it's Emily. Welcome everyone. I'm here in Tampa today, and we're here at Raymond James Stadium, home of the Bucks. We're gonna look around at a couple things here, and then later tonight we'll end up in the Miami area. It's gonna be a good day. Let's go. I bet this place has been rocking the last couple of years with Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, and Leonard Fournette joining the team in 2020. That same year, the Bucks won Super Bowl 55, giving Tom Brady his 7th Super Bowl, more Super Bowl wins than any NFL franchise. But Tom Brady announced his retirement not too long ago, although it seems like he's waffling a little bit. Sounds like he wants to go to San Francisco, but we'll see. I have to think the Bucks will make some moves to get Tom back another year. I also read that Amazon might be courting him as an analyst for Thursday Night Football, and Fox might also be looking for him to pair up with Joe Buck next year. But if this is really it for Tom Brady, thanks not only for getting the Bucks a Super Bowl win, but also denying the Falcons a win in the famous 28-3 game in Super Bowl 51. Anyway, just seeing this stadium is a real thrill. Great to be here. The stadium from another angle. There's Gronky. Love this big goofball. In addition to Gronky, pan to the right, and there's the backside of the pirate ship, which is a unique feature of the stadium. Getting a nice wide shot now. The stadium, I believe, seats 66,000 people. No Falcons, Panthers, or Saints fans are allowed here, right? Not sure what the status of Gronky is. Is he retiring too? Is he staying here, going to another team? I know he said he wanted to play with Joe Burrow, but inquiring minds want to know. Anyway, time to head to another couple of places in downtown Tampa. Next stop is the beautiful and classic Tampa Theatre, a beautiful edifice that opened on October 15, 1926. One of these days I'll have to see a show in here. I've seen a few vlogs that show the interior of this building, and it's beautiful. It is also the first commercial building to have air conditioning. Think about having no AC on a hot July day in Florida. The Tampa Theatre was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1978. It's also a City of Tampa landmark and is in the League of Historic American Theaters. One last look before going to our next roadside attraction in Tampa. Very nice morning in Tampa, and in the words of Tampa J, there's much ahead. Much ahead. Near the corner of Harrison and Florida, and still lots of fog as you can tell, is this impressive painted mural. This is the mural to see when you're in Tampa. Check out this painted mural. This is called the Tampa Postcard mural and showcases several of Tampa's attractions. The mural was painted by Carl Cowden III in 2012. It's an iconic and Instagrammable location in Tampa, well worth a visit. The T is for the water tower in Sulphur Springs. The first A is for the Gasparilla ship. The M is for the Old Tampa Bay Hotel, now at the University of Tampa. The P is for the trolleys running in Ybor City. Finally, the other A is for children fishing at one of Tampa's rivers. Beneath the letters is downtown Tampa along the Hillsborough River. Beautiful mural. Time to head south. Now heading south on my journey, getting on I-75, we'll be outside of Miami tonight. Lots of ground to cover. I'm now in the city of Venice, about halfway between Tampa and Fort Myers. Clouds are trying to break, and when they do, it'll get hot. This is Laurel Park, and this sidewalk used to be railroad tracks. I'm here to see a small homage to the Ringling brothers and Barnum and Bailey's Circus. I'm not sure if this train car transported circus animals. The circus is pretty much a thing of the past. Here are the old railroad tracks, not in service anymore. Here's a platform leading to the train car, but the train car is locked. There's a caboose right over there. And here's a statue for the famous animal trainer, Gunther Gebel-Williams, who is from Venice. Gunther Gebel-Williams worked with Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus from 1968 until 1990. He was a frequent guest on The Ed Sullivan Show and The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. Gebel-Williams passed away in 2001, succumbing to a brain tumor at the age of 66. I don't think there are circuses anymore, but the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus was an annual event for my parents. This marker describes how Gebel-Williams transformed the circus and was known as the great wild animal trainer of all time. I didn't realize the circus was headquartered in Venice. The circus has entertained over 200 million people across 12,000 consecutive performances. This display is at the Rollins W. Coakley Railroad Park. This railroad line is no longer in use, and a long walking and biking trail has taken its place. Pan around, and this is the historic train station, which opened in 1927. The building now functions as a bus station. This is a good-sized park, and it's not far from the river, and just a few blocks from the quaint downtown area. Now a few miles south is in the city of Englewood. There's a yellow water tower in the distance. I'm at Lemon Bay Historic Cemetery, a very small cemetery where there's a unique burial site. I think the burial site is over here. There's a guy playing guitar music not far away, not sure if you can hear it. And here it is. The burial site is in the shape of a boat, complete with a steering wheel and anchored to two wooden posts. This is a pretty cool idea. The gentleman buried here is Herbert Harvey Anger, who went by Bill. Buried here in 1990, he was considered a pioneer in the fishing industry in Englewood, which explains the boat-shaped gravesite. This really is an amazing idea, and I love the steering wheel added to the boat, as well as the anchor post that this boat is roped to. The Anger family was also one of the original settlers of the city, which was once called Lemon Bay. In fact, many of the deceased here were original settlers of the city. Many of the gravesites have pictures of boats, but this is the only one where the gravesite itself is shaped like a boat. Now driving over this long bridge, I didn't see any signs cautioning me to check my gas, like the bridge near Tampa. Anyway, I'm heading to Punta Gorda, a beautiful city just north of Fort Myers. There are some roadside attractions here. Here is some of the downtown area. This is a very pretty downtown with the upscale buildings and palm tree lined roads. Very, very nice. Over here to my right is an empty lot, which apparently is where the site of Hotel Punta Gorda was located. It opened in January 1888 and served 3,300 guests in its first year. All rooms had a view of Charlotte Harbor, that body of water we just drove over. Not far from that marker is this water fountain, but this isn't a water fountain you want to use to quench your thirst. This spigot is known as the radioactive water fountain. Apparently, the well that's the source of the water has been contaminated by radioactive radium and sulfur, and that sulfur has a very bad odor. However, many locals still get water from the well, thinking the water may actually be good for you, because it also has high levels of magnesium, which can lower your blood pressure. Gonna walk a few blocks up this road, heading toward another roadside attraction, something I've seen in the last 3 road trips. This is the A.C. Freeman House, a historic home with the rare to this area Queen Anne architecture. This edifice was moved twice, the second time after Hurricane Charlie struck this area in 2005. This house also has something that is familiar to viewers of my channel, the Peter Toth totem pole. You may recall I stopped by the residence of Peter Toth near Edgewater, Florida, where much of his artwork, including numerous totem poles, are located. This totem pole is called Kalastamuku and is dedicated to the Native Americans that first inhabited this area. There is also a time capsule buried in 2006. The marker also mentioned the totem pole is maintained by people who care. This is a really nice piece of artwork. It also has a second side. The face of the Native American is duplicated on the other side of the totem pole. There is also an eagle atop the head. The totem pole is beautifully surrounded by palm trees and other plants. Time to head to the next place. Now I'm at a historic train station. The train station has been well maintained. Today it is both a historical museum and an antique mall. Now at the front of the train station, and this shows a shameful part of our history, when you look at the 2 front doors. One door was originally a waiting room for white travelers, the other for non-white travelers. This marker says this railroad station opened in 1928. When this train depot began restoration in 1998, it was decided to use the colored room to highlight the contributors of local Black Americans. The white section spotlights the fishing industry, railroad memorabilia, and more. The museum was not open when I was there, but the museum is free. Be aware that this is a reminder that America once treated people differently based solely on skin color. The Florida weather is very rough on this wood. Here's a sign outside the colors section. Looks like in 1997 a decision was made to keep the 2 entrances undisturbed and maintained so future generations can learn the experiences from 1877 until the passage of the Civil Rights Act in 1964. One final view of this former train station before heading off. This would be a great place for train watchers. Now at Ponce de Leon Park, right on Charlotte Harbor, which leads into the Gulf of Mexico. This marker details how Florida was named. When Ponce de Leon landed in Florida in 1513, he believed this was an island, and also it was the time of the Feast of the Flowers, or Pascua Florida. Here's a small amphitheater. Looks like a small statue of Ponce de Leon in the center. Yep, that's him. There was some Ponce de Leon history made right here in Punta Gorda. Yet another statue of Ponce de Leon over here. There are a number of small statues of Ponce de Leon throughout Punta Gorda. The statues are very short, but I'm not sure if Ponce de Leon was that short. He was born in 1460 in Spain and died in Cuba in 1523. His remains were sent to Puerto Rico, where he was interred. His epitaph reads, "Beneath this stone repose the bones of the valiant lion whose deeds surpassed the greatness of his name." Over here, Near another statue is a site believed to be where the first white man died in America. On May 24, 1513, Bahia del Espiritu Santo died during a fight with several Native Americans. The battle was fought on what is now Bayan Island, and the cause of death was when multiple arrows struck him. Many locals come here to see the sunset at this beautiful beach. Punta Gorda really is a beautiful city. So much history here and so much to do. On this road leading back to the interstate, the speed bumps are called speed cushions according to the sign. They're trying to avoid reckless driving over these bridges. Now in Fort Myers, at the IMAX Science Center, I'm going to pan over to the right, where they have this interesting sculpture. It's a cute little dinosaur made from recycled metal. It's called Pipiosaurus. I love the red face and that big smile. The sculpture got a fresh coat of paint last year. Still looks pretty good today. Getting a close-up view, this is a pretty big statue. It has to be about 20 feet tall. I think the eyes have eyelashes as well. Yes, the eyes are recycled gears, which give the illusion of eyelashes. The best way to visit is to park in the museum parking lot while the museum is open. It's visible from the road, but there are lots of trees and the fence surrounding the property. Also outside is this 9/11 memorial. There's a very large piece of concrete over here. Wonder if that was part of one of the buildings that fell. That's a very large piece of concrete. This marker says the concrete was part of the slurry wall that surrounded the Twin Towers. It was salvaged and brought here so people can touch the stone as part of the continued healing process. Here's a map of the slurry wall, outlined in red. It surrounded several buildings in the World Trade Center complex. A slurry wall is a barrier that prevents coastal water from coming in and washing away the building's foundation. Below it is a picture of the slurry wall during construction. Seeing this was emotional to my parents. In the 1980s, my father visited the observation deck of one of the towers.
Would you look at the size of that banyan tree? It's gargantuan.
This was at the Edison Botanical Garden, which is part of the larger combined Thomas Edison and Henry Ford estates, where both had adjacent winter properties. This is the main trunk of the massive banyan tree. It looks like the smaller trunks are helping hold up the long branches from this tree. This tree is massive. Sure does provide a lot of shade from the hot Florida sun. The tree was only 4 feet tall when planted by Edison in 1925. Also, this tree is not even 100 years old. This marker details Thomas Edison's incredible life. Born in 1847, he was one of the most accomplished inventors in world history. He owned over 1,000 patents, and he is the only person to have been granted a patent every year for 65 consecutive years. The statue was erected in 2004. This is a really nice place. I'll have to come back here to explore this garden and also the nearby estate. Now leaving the botanical garden and through the massive estates of Henry Ford and Thomas Edison. It's so beautiful through here. Edison said, "There is only one Fort Myers, and soon 90 million Americans will discover it." That's very much the truth. Southwest Florida is a fast-growing area. Now driving south on Interstate 75, heading toward my final destinations. Check out all the traffic heading north. The traffic might be going 10 miles an hour. Everybody getting out of town for the President's Day weekend. The traffic jam goes on and on and on. I think it lasted about 20 miles. I'm almost in Naples. That's how far the traffic jam lasted. Alright, so now I'm heading east on US 41, the Tamiami Trail, heading away from Naples and toward Miami. This road is south of Alligator Alley, which became Interstate 75 in the 1990s. Coming up on my right is a very, very small roadside attraction, and it's also a working government facility. This little white building is a working post office. This is the smallest post office in the United States at only 61.3 square feet. It used to be a shed holding piping until the previous post office was destroyed by a fire in 1953. This marker also mentions the post office has functioned as a bus ticket station. The post office serves 3 counties, parts of Miami-Dade, Collier, and Monroe counties, as well as 2 Native American tribes. This post office is open weekdays from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and again from noon to 4 p.m. and also open Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. If you want to see it, it's on this road, US 41, about 3 miles east of State Road 29 in the tiny town of Ochopee. Okay, one more stop to make. My final stop is also on Tamiami Trail, and we are entering Miami-Dade County, hoping to make it there before the sun sets. Barely made it. I'm on the other side of a canal, and I'll swing around it and show you this memorial with 110 pillars on a triangle-shaped concrete slab. The 110 pillars represents the 110 people that died in a plane crash back in 1996. They were on Valujet Airlines Flight 592. Valujet was a discount airline which was considered one of the least safe airlines. My parents flew on Valujet quite a bit in the mid-1990s, so this is emotional for them. Over here is a marker with the 110 names of those that perished on that flight. May 11th, 1996. 105 passengers and 5 crew members. The point at the end of the triangle points to where the crash occurred, 10 miles from here. Some cargo caught fire on the aircraft and smoke filled the cabin. Minutes later, the plane went into a nosedive and crashed into the Everglades at over 500 miles per hour. Not much of the aircraft fuselage was recovered, and only the remains of 69 people were recovered. The plane literally disappeared into the swamp.